What you're about to watch is a special private training session for people who bought a copy of my book, Built to Serve. Enjoy. Insiders, let's go. What do you got? How can I help? This is it. Jam session for people who read Built to Serve.
So with the 10 pack having some direction, how broad do you think you can actually go with it? Because as I was saying this morning, like I'm kind of all over the place because there's a lot of messages within the message and how to actually segment the 10 pack. Like I'm having trouble nailing that down. Like I get the who I am, but how to tie everything that I've gone through, because it's so broad and it covers so much, even within my world of addiction recovery business and all of that, there's a lot of different pieces to it. So every time I start thinking about it, each little splinter could be like its own, and it's too much.
So the 10 pack of content was designed for the fast passive freedom where you're doing outreach. So it's basically make 10 pieces of content and then stop. And you're not posting anymore. You're spending the time outreaching to people to help them.
Well, I'm getting a lot of individuals now reaching out to me, like a lot of individuals. I mean, I probably have 15, 18 now that have reached out, and I'm trying to figure out, I have to transition this online because I just don't have enough time to do it. And I'm trying to develop it that way, like where to send them as a home to check it out, and then to be able to parlay it into something from that, like give away something free and then have something on the back end. Like I'm in that developmental stage, but I can't figure out how to tighten up that content as to where I'm initially sending them.
Yeah. So I wouldn't worry about the 10 pack because you're making ongoing content, right? And you've been fairly consistent, there's moments, but it's been fairly consistent on making pictures, videos. I like the Evan in the car series. But also just you sitting there in your office and filming something. I wouldn't worry about it being as like, it still relates as long as you can tie the message back. Like what's the core theme? Is it addiction recovery? Is it something bigger? What's the core theme of your content?
Well, that's where I go, because my word is basically impact. I want to make an impact, but you can do that in every area of your life. So what I say is I want it to be on how to rebuild your life, your health, your business post addiction, because I'm not a counselor or a therapist. So when it's in that, once you've made the decision, you want to design a new life. Well, then there's that mind, body, spirit piece, and they all are their own segments, if you will, because there has to be balance in all the different areas in order for you to, rebuild yourself. So it's rebuild your life, your health, your business, basically after addiction, depression, anxiety, or even self-destructive behaviors in general.
So those are the two things that you tie in. It's business, health, relationships, plus post addiction and recovery. So you're not just the business guy, but it's post addiction recovery. That's the end. So there's a lot you can talk about in there, and I wouldn't worry about just narrowing in on one thing inside that, because you're good at all that stuff. And I've seen you answer all sorts of different questions and help people. But if it's going to be, you could help anybody with impact, but at the core is the people who have struggled with addiction. You're helping them get through. So just make that a piece of the content, because you're in the story addressing the people who are like you, who are trying to get to the other side of addiction recovery, and then how to build a business and rebuild their life afterwards.
Right. Okay.
So the top theme is fine. It's just in the story, I have to know. If you're just doing motivational quotes,
no,
it doesn't tie up to
I'm trying to pick that. I'm trying to shift away and get more intentional to start turning it into potential business.
It's in the story. You can still have the quote.
Right.
But it's in the caption in the story. Or if you're going to lead a video with a quote, great. But tell me why that means something to you and why it matters to people who are going through addiction recovery.
Okay.
That's it. Just take me deeper.
Okay. Thanks.
And then where to send people? What do you want to do? You want to do coaching?
Well, that's where I'm going back and forth with. Like I've pondered group, pondered course. I know you say go on the personal level first, but I think I'm thinking too much on what that infrastructure is going to look like. I'm looking at it too much from a business standpoint, because it's just the way my brain is wired. Like what's next?
So how many coaching have you done from the 15?
No, I'm literally talking to like 15 people. like
Oh, but you've actually talked to them. You've actually done coaching with them.
Yeah, and it's pretty much all private just because of what it is. And 8 of them are paying me, and the other ones I'm not. But I'm looking to. I mean, I have a day business to run too, so I'm trying to figure out how to take it more online, more group, more. I don't know. So I'm in that limbo right now.
Well, you mean the 8 to pay you, you want to turn it into a annual thing instead of just like a one-off for whenever, because they need the constant support and help. And then you slowly start increasing the pricing. First 5 get at this price, next 5 get at the next price, next 5 get at a higher price. You keep increasing the pricing, and then you learn through that process of what the common issues are. That then you can turn that into a group training, or a book, or course or material.
Okay.
Good to see you, Evan.
Yeah, you got something I can help with? We're doing free flow Q&A today.
Oh, sure. Why not? You ready for this?
I hope. You never know. Mark's a special human. He's gonna I'm ready for the curveball. Here it comes.
I write poetry.
Yep.
Poetic path to getting more done. I created a little engine on my website where you fill out some questions and then drop down menus, and then it creates your own poem for you. If anyone wants to try it, it's mypoem.getmoredone.com. Now, I don't charge for that, but I'm thinking, hey, there's an idea there. I could write romantic poems. Actually, I wrote one for a guy the other day to see if I could do this. So the whole thing would be engine generated. So you stick in some words, you stick in the topics or whatever, and it creates these poems for you. So this is not my main business, as you know. So it could be a romantic poem. It could be a motivational poem. It could be maybe get into corporate, all kinds of different ideas. So I'm thinking we've got the engine that kind of exists. And so now I'm thinking building a website and charging people for those poems. That's what I'm thinking about these days.
I think you have a huge opportunity on Twitter, which is weird because I haven't talked about Twitter in forever. But I would take popular tweets and turn them into poems. Like, I want to know, what is the Donald Trump poem? Although Trump, I think, is banned from Twitter right now. But whoever is like blasting off on Twitter right now, what is their poem?
Okay, but the idea was I want to write a poem for your wife that you're going to give to your wife as an anniversary or as a birthday present or something like that, and telling her how much you love her and what great qualities she has. That was sort of the idea.
I like it. It's how do you get attention for it? I mean, how many guys would love to write a poem and feel like they suck at writing poems? Right? So here's this free tool to help you do it. But how do you get awareness of it? Something in the media. Like if you had Trump write a love letter to Biden.
Sure.
Using the tool, right? That gets you attention. And then, oh no, it's actually a serious tool that you can use for your family, right?
Couple of the other add-ons. So you get your poem, but then if you want us to print it and mount it for you, we can send that to you. You could have me or someone on Fiverr read it to you. Maybe the Cameo guys could read it back. If you're not familiar with Cameo, that's stars from The Office who wish you happy birthday, so they could read the poem. So there's all kinds of different add-on ideas to turn this thing into a kind of a tangible deliverable.
Phase 2. Is like, it can go in a million different directions. Maybe right. Kanye West wants to buy your company and put poems on his shoes. I mean, who knows?
Sure.
Like, it could go in a million different directions.
Yep.
You need attention on it. So you got a concept, you got the engine, now you need the promotion. And I think that's the way to do it. I would go hard on Twitter, whatever's trending right now, be a part of the conversation. Because why Twitter? Twitter is it's news, it's trendy, and there's a lot of negativity in the system on Twitter. There's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of people yelling at each other. So you're giving love. You're spreading love in the place where there's a lot of negativity that can get you attention. And then it's like, oh, this is actually a pretty cool website. I could use this for my own relationship with my wife, with my colleagues, or whatever. Maybe you don't send a romantic email. Don't scratch that. You don't send a romantic love letter to your colleague, especially if you're
Evan, maybe I'll get your wife to do one for your wife at no charge. I only 75 followers. That doesn't matter, does it? Because people will spread the word for you.
You reply to the trending conversations. So go to twitter.com.
I'm not a Twitter.
So go to twitter.com, switch your country
Yep.
to USA, because I know you're in Toronto here with me. Switch to USA, because that's where we're going to trend. See the comments, see what people are trending, like what they're talking about right now, and then you're responding to other people's comments on it.
Right.
So you'll get noticed because you're in the comments responding to people. So like what's happening right now, Representative Matt Gaetz, victim of criminal extortion. Great. What's the Matt Gaetz love letter? Godzilla versus Kong is trending. What would Godzilla write to Kong? Do they even talk in the movies? I don't know. Like you play with it, you have some fun. People are talking about it. Instead of this fighting movie, you got Godzilla sending a love note to Kong.
Evan, one of the things people wrestle with is which social media. You're on all of them. Maybe give us a brief overview. YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Just give us the overview on those.
YouTube is long form content that lives forever. That's the ultimate place to build a brand. So that's thought leadership content for the most part. LinkedIn, heavy business focus. So if you're doing your time studies, like LinkedIn is the easiest way to get traction, get clients. YouTube, the best for long-term, build your brand. Twitter is like news and discussion. So it's actually my worst platform because I don't even know what is happening in the world. I pay zero attention to what's going on right now. So it sucks for me, but is great for this. Facebook is an ad platform. Facebook is not anything to get excited about organically. Clubhouse, great for thought leadership content. If you're going to go on and share a message, audio, if you're in the audio business, Clubhouse, we need to be first in any kind of podcast. What else? What am I missing? Did you see something else? Instagram. Instagram is America. Beautiful picture, aspirational, storytelling, short videos and pictures, but making it look nice. It's more of a aspirational life, inspirational life that you want to live. So there's a potential there for you for your thing, but I think Twitter is better. You can more easily hack conversations for what you're trying to do on Twitter.
Okay.
Cool, man. What else? Who else got something? Unmute. Let's go.
I do have something. I'm a first timer in here, so
let's go, Frank. Welcome aboard.
So I just read the book Built to Serve. So what I'm trying to resolve in this situation is musicians with a fixed income or like a steady income. So right now, I've been trying myself as just I don't want to say starving artist, but I do work. I do my full time, but I also think that I have a message to share with the world, and I think that this kind of formula that I'm like generating could be easily replicable. And I'm sorry if my English is not that very good. I'm Puerto Rican, so it's not my first language. So
what kind of music do you play?
That's another weird thing. We're a mix of a little bit of everything. Since I'm Puerto Rican, we're heavily influenced by American music, but at the same time, we're very African and like very like a percussive country by nature. So I like to mix and match and just go all the ways, and that's one of the issues that I'm having on Charlotte right now that I'm living in Charlotte, North Carolina. Since I'm on every kind of genre and I don't fix on a specific genre, I don't usually play live because of this, because I cannot fit on any genre. So I decided, well, since now everybody's streaming and everybody's doing on live, what if I can switch the theme of ghost kitchens and turn into ghost tents and have the same kind of like form, but have me doing all the work for these singers songwriters. So that's usually what I'm shooting for, and try them, since everything is going online, And since I already did the work for the audio and the the musical part of it, it's easy for me to translate whatever musical concept they have. So right now I'm working with this band called the Bird Monkeys, that they're just sending me material. I digest it and I just send that to them at a fixed price because it takes shorter for me to do it. But at the same time, I'm not physically playing with them in Fayetteville, which is like 3 hours away. So I think that this rethinking of the whole industry could help the musician that is on the road playing with them. For me, that is like I'm receiving some kind of a compensation whenever I do receive like some kind of an artist. But if I train the musicians to invest whenever they are sending me some stuff like in mutual funds, because this is something that musicians are not getting it really down, like the music business is like full of like smoke and mirrors. So I'm just trying to navigate through this myself, and at the same time trying to navigate for people that are like after me, so that way they don't have to go through the whole thing that I just went through, like a whole 20 years learning different softwares, or 20 years different systems and different languages even to get to this
inside
moment.
of that, it's figuring out where can you bring the most value to the industry. Are you going to be the mutual fund guy who's giving financial advice? Are you going to be the software guy who's helping them make their plans better? Are you going to be the agent who connects them to gigs, who's going to help them sell? Like, there's a lot of options you could go with, but like, what are you great at that you can really solve a problem for them? And if you're going to go startup, it has to be like startup musicians who are barely getting by. It has to be at scale because you don't make enough from every single individual musician, right?
Yeah, that's the issue I'm having right
bands.
now. If I scale it,
What's that?
go ahead. No, if I go ahead and scale it, for example, with the kind of deal that I'm having right now with them, since I'm not going as per hour like a normal studio will, I'm getting paid by the. I like to give them value give them as per project. For example, they're paying me right now for just one song, just one demo. And since it's easier for me to re-record, since I do have most of the software and most of the knowledge, I just give them a set price. So that way it's easier for them to pay me. But at the same time, if I scale this, and if I get too many artists, there will be a point that it will not be easy for me to maintain all those songs coming in if I decided to open this as a website or as a service.
Yeah, so you got to think, and how easy is that to turn into a website, right? So you have to think, is this something that at these margins you could afford to ultimately hire somebody so that you don't have to do it? And if you can't, it only works because you're doing everything, then it's not really a business. You've just bought yourself a job. So, which is probably not what you want. I mean, I guess it's a better job, maybe a more fulfilling job than having a real job, but it's not really a business if you can't scale it beyond yourself. So it's thinking, how do I get it to the point? What you're doing now is great, but how do I get it? First off, focus. Like if it's the software, great. You're going to do project songs, great. I wouldn't mess with mutual funds and all that other stuff because they're probably not.
I will go ahead and pay for that. Like I literally have. I don't want to say I have a guy, but yeah, I have somebody that I do think that is an expert on the matter, and that
it's like what is Frank going to be known for? Frank is known for making kick-ass songs. I
try to produce myself, auto-produce myself, and show other people how can they produce themselves, and at the same time make it profitable.
Sure. So keep it tight. Like keep it around that. Have your process around that. That's your brand, and I wouldn't worry about mutual funds or anything else that. Like, wait, I thought this guy was the expert at helping me produce the songs, right? So that's where I would focus, and then try to get more, like, you turn a one-off song into an album. So you're doing every song. You're asking for referrals to get more people like them, but turn it into a higher profit margin for you so that you can afford to hire somebody to come in and replicate what you're doing. So it's not just you having bought a job. Let's try to get to one more. So good luck on that, Frank. Send you lots of love, man. One more. We got 3 minutes left. It's crazy how quickly time flies when you're having fun. Who's got something quick?
Well, Evan, good day to you, and hi, everybody. Bob Newman here. I just wanted to say that I've been utilizing your book in my work with my homeless clientele here in Burbank, California.
Cool.
And going through the steps of that you outline and kind of transitioning it to the who, why, how, and trying to get to people to get to their core value and what makes them happy. I really appreciate it. It's been really helpful as an outline to try to connect. And using this platform is just give me another tool in the toolbox, man, to help transition these people, in a meaningful way.
How many people are there, Bob?
How many people? Well, we've so far since I started this program in Burbank, I've been doing this for 15 years. But since we started in Burbank, we've transitioned 89 homeless people off the street.
Nice.
And
how many are you working with right now?
Well, right now currently we're working with about 23. So, and of those 23, that's why I began utilizing some of your built to serve subject matter. So I just want to say, man, it's great. Thank you so much.
I love it, man. Listen, connect with Sandra. Are you here? Sandra's here. Sandra, can we connect with Bob? I want to get 23 signed copies of the book out to Bob.
That's
so
awesome.
He can
Thank
send
you so
one
much.
to all of the members that are going through his program right now. Sandra says yes. Okay, please connect with. I mean, I love it. I love what you're doing. I love it. So if I can support the 23 people going through now, and let's get that signed copy. Awesome, cool. So yeah, connect with Sandra. She's here in the chat, and we'll make sure that we get your address and the details taken care of. Okay, super quick. Raymond, you had something?
Yeah, I'm going through this now. I'm looking to get majority of podcast guests. I've been emailing about 20 people at a time just to get them on. But what is the follow-up process that's proper to do that?
Okay, so one, you've already had some people on your show?
Yeah, numerous. I'm so backed up. I got about 30, 40 videos that I've recorded, and now I'm moving it to editing. And I got an editor since we last talked. That's awesome. That rocks.
So you hack the people who've already been on?
I do. So should I stop?
No, I mean, because if you stop, then you could slow down a little bit. But if you stop, then you'll find, now I don't have any guests anymore for my show. You hack the people who've been on. So if Mark Elwood goes on your show, you look at everybody who follows Mark, and then you message them to say, hey, we just had Mark Elwood on. Do you want to come on our show too? And they know who Mark is because they're following him. That name means something to them. So if you're in the productivity world, you've probably heard of Mark Elwood's name. If you're in the poetry world, maybe you know Mark Elwood. If you're in the ballet world, you probably don't know who he is, right? I mean, we all have our expertise and niches, unless Mark is big in ballet. I don't know, maybe. But anybody who you have had on and you've released their episode, you then see who they're following. Who's following them, who is following them, and then you message them to say, we just had X on. Do you want to come on as well? And then anytime you've got a new update, like, hey, we just crossed 10,000 downloads. And again, we've had Mark Elwood on. Would you like to be our next guest? It'd be amazing to have you on. And you just put it in your calendar that every month you follow up with some new kind of update and another ask to have them come on. And you're giving them value. I mean, I wouldn't message them every single day with something, but that would be the approach that I take. Every month, put it in your calendar. And just now that you have so many and you're going slower, you can afford to be a little more selective and picky. So you're now trying to hit above your weight class to say, okay, this guy follows Mark? Wow, okay. You know what? Maybe I'm going to go after that guy, right? Where at the beginning, you're like, oh my gosh, I'll take anybody I need a guest for my show. Now you start moving your way up.
Yeah, so you're saying the followers, because I'm putting together 2 shows. One's Beyond Failure to Reach Success, which is entrepreneurs, business builders. And the other one is The Guide's Corner. And you gave me that idea a while back to coach people live. So I just started that. So is that what you're saying? Probably message their followers to possibly come on to my show so we could do that? Or just...
For the guest one,
Okay.
you message their followers. Like you look at who's following Mark. Mark just came on.
Right.
Who's following Mark? There's gonna be a whole bunch of people who you don't know who they are, and you probably don't want them as guests. But there's gonna be a couple on there. It's like, oh my gosh, this person follows Mark. That's so cool.
Got it.
And then you message them and you say, we just had Mark Elwood on our show, and they're gonna look at you and say, oh, okay, Mark went on. All right, well, if Mark went on, I'll give it a shot because I know Mark and I like him. I follow him, so that means something to me.
Got it. Thank you for the gem. Appreciate that.
That's like for anybody who's booking guests and hacking audiences. Sadhguru just launched a book and we're helping promote the book. And so I messaged the team again, like, hey, we had Sadhguru on 2 years ago when he came to Toronto. We did an interview and we just helped Guru Gopal Das, who's another Indian monk, launch his book. And we did an interview and it got 1 million views on the channel. Does Sadhguru want to come on and do a virtual interview here? Right. So like the show that it's not a Tony Robbins interview. It's a Guru Gopal Das. He's another Indian monk, right? It's highly related. So you keep hacking audiences. Guys, 25 minutes flies. It's crazy. We do these because I want you, obviously you guys have the book and hopefully you've read it, but to try to support, we've got a community, you've got the Facebook group to share, post, keep your updates coming. And also to try to help you guys make progress. So it's not just picking up a book and it's having dust collect on a shelf, but you're actually hopefully able to do something with it. So we'll keep you posted. I'm trying to do these every week as long as I'm in town and don't have another meeting. But come early, come right on time and raise your hand and have your question ready to go so we make sure you're the one we talk to. And Evan Tinsman says, join Movement Makers. If you want to get a copy of Built to Serve and join us live for our next training with me to ask your questions, you can go get the book right there next to me, right there. I'll see you there. I'll see you to get the book. It's a good one. Much love.